Hi, my name is Master King. I want to welcome you to watch the DVD. I hope you gain a lot of information out of it. One of the key things that will help you learn and get to black belt is by practicing. If you practice 5 minutes a day, practice the forms that you're doing, you'll find out that you'll see a big improvement just over a short time. So practice, and I'll see you on the mat. I want to work with you on basics because the basic blocks are very important. A couple of things. One, on the front kicks and side kicks, that's the hardest part. Let me show you. When you're doing a front kick, stand sideways with me. Look at my foot. Try to go toes like this to begin with. One. This way, when you lift your foot up, it's already in the locked out position. If you pick your foot up flat like you're walking up a flight of stairs, what happens is, then when you kick, your foot's flat. And then what happens is it flexes. So if you were to break a board later on, you won't be able to break the board because your foot isn't in a locked out position. So watch, you lock your ankle, 1. Pick your foot up to your kneecap, 2. After your front kick, you go 1, 2, kick, pull back, and then down. Because you kick at air a lot of times, I don't really recommend you kicking as hard as you can. Go for more speed. The reason why is if you kick super hard, over time your meniscus and your ACL are going to start getting damaged. So I want you to train safe. And most of all, when you're kicking, it's really good to get a bag. We sell them here. If you get a bag, it helps you so that we have a target and you practice kicking and punching the bag. So let's go over our front kicks. So what you want to do is you turn sideways. Okay, I'll turn to the other side, you two. Pick your foot up, 1. Ball the foot first. See that? That's the hardest position to do. Once you have that down, you're okay. Then you just pick up your foot from there. So it's 1, 2, 1, 2. And you just practice doing that. So don't pick your foot up flat. Toes up, then go 1, 2, 1, 2. Once you have that down, then after that, 3 is much easier. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 up here, 1 here, 1 is on the ground, 2 is up, 3, 4. So the reason why 1's on the ground is because you don't lift your foot up flat. You go 1 ankle, 2 lift, 3 kick and back. So practice that. Well, you can also hold on to the wall to practice to give you balance, kicking straight ahead from here and down. Okay, let's go over side kick. Side kick, you have to remember a couple of things. One thing is relax. Second thing is side kick is a side kick because you're kicking to the side. So what you do is you want to keep your body sideways here, keep your knees bent. If you lock out your leg when you're doing a kick, what happens is you actually injure yourself more later on down the road. So bend your knees and turn your hip over. That way your heel is up off the ground. Now, my right heel is off the ground because when you're first learning, this is how we want to practice because it teaches you to rotate your hip over so you thrust using your hip and you target with your heel. So your heel would actually hit the bag or your opponent. So you go like this, keep your knees bent here. Now this one, you don't go ball the foot. You just keep your foot flat. Here, 1, 1, just like that. 1, 2, back and then down. Back and then down. So that's the kick you want to practice. And it also helps you hold on to something. That way you can just pick up your foot for balance, kick out, back and down. So that's side kick. Remember, hold your hands like you're holding cups of water. So when you're kicking, you have good balance. Here, exhale, keep your knees bent, kick. And then you can kick slower too. You don't necessarily have to kick middle or high. Practice accomplishing your kicks lower with balance, then go a little higher and a little higher. Now let's go roundhouse kick. Roundhouse kick is with an instep. So what you want to do is stay in a fighting stance. You turn your standing leg. So your right leg, since my right leg's facing you, turns in the direction my swinging my kick around. Then your left foot here swings around here and then down. And you're kicking with the instep. That's where your shoelaces are. So watch. 1, turn your foot first. Most important, if you don't turn your foot, you hurt your kneecap. Turn your toes at least 45-degree angle. Here. Then hands up for balance. Try to move them around. Exhale. Kick and then down. Now you can hold on to a pole, so that way you're able to hold on to a pole or a stick. Here. Turn. Balance. Foot 1. Roundhouse kick. And then step back. That way you have something to hold on for balance. Now, the last kick I'm going to go over is back kick. Back kick is not an easy kick unless you break it down. So I'm going to break it down for you. Hands up. Now, my left foot's in front. So I'm going to relax and turn to my back side. Now back kick is because you're turning your back to your opponent, but it's actually a turnaround side kick. So watch. As you turn around, point your elbow at your target. That lines up your body. And pretend like you're holding cups of water again. So from here, bend your knees, turn, and you can slide your back foot around a little bit more for balance. Bending your knees, point your elbow at the target, and then back kick, and then back. See that? Back kick low, here. You don't have to go high right now. Bend your knees for balance, and back kick low, and then down. And then once you accomplish that, you can go higher and higher with your kick. But what happens is when people first start to kick, they always want to try to kick as high as they can like they see on TV. The whole idea is you want to kick smart, so if you start low, then aim for a target and then go higher and higher. You can even take painter's tape, stick it on the wall for different targets, and then practice aiming for it. And that helps you out with your kicks. Now the last thing I want to go over is fighting stance. Fighting stance, you keep your hands up here. Now look, this is between my lip and my nose, my fist. As I move, or my opponent moves, my fist still stays between my lip and nose. If my opponent moves there, I follow my opponent here. See that? I don't just drop my hand. If you drop your hand, then you get hit in the face. So keep your fist between your lip and nose. The most important aspect I could ever teach in your martial arts training isn't how to kick or punch the best, but how to be a good person. So now that you're a member of our studio, try your best to be a good person. If you're a kid, listen to your parents, get good school grades. If you're an adult, don't get caught doing anything bad. We don't want to have a lot of road rage out there. And we also want to make sure we have self-control. Because there's two types of control. One control is when someone controls you. The other one is when you control yourself. So let's have that. Okay, next one I want to show you is as a review. If you get angry and you're a kid or a grown up, what do we do? Exercise. So run in place. You can do jumping jacks. You can do punches, kicks, whatever it takes to get out all that anger, and then you what? You're no longer angry. Okay, so that's one exercise you can practice. The other one we always teach, and that is the dog attack. So watch. If a dog comes up to you, your hands to your side, bring your hands up, look down, and then you say, go home. You don't look at the dog in the eyes. Put your chin down, and then you walk back slowly away. Don't shake your hands, because that means you want to fight the dog, and don't look at the dog because it looks like you're trying to challenge him. So 1, 2, look at the ground. Don't look at the dog. You say go home, and you back up slowly and get out of there. But don't be running and screaming like a 1-year-old kid because you don't want the dog to munch on you, okay? All right, so the other thing I want to talk to you about is how to bow. And that's the last part. When you come into the studio, or when you see the instructors or other senior belts, you always want to show respect. The way we show respect is you feet together, hands to your side, back straight. You bow, look 6 feet in front of you on the ground, like this, and then you can shake their hand and say hello. Very important for you to do that. If you're shy, I understand, but this is where you get over that shyness and learn to step up and learn to be a little bit more outgoing. It's not easy, but this is part of your way to get to black belt.